Okay, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Even though we want to try and divide, oh, it looks like 3D Clan is going to be covering Solar versus Rogue.
Yeah, 3D Clan along with... No, yeah, just 3D Clan. But you know what? Show him some love. He is a much newer caster. Well, I say much newer, but I mean specifically for ESL Asia. They come in as I believe last week he made his debut as the Russian caster.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel a little bit bad because I did forget to mention Into the Inu for Korea when I mentioned the casters.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, we have 5 casters. And I think 4 of us are in here, so...
Yep.
All right, but that is going to be enough of that. We are going to be loading in onto Def Aura LEE. We're in the... I was wondering why you weren't... why you switched your camera, but it's because I was on the wrong one. In the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, as I forget that we did have a group, please.
Oh, yeah! Oh, we didn't invite her! No! Next one, sorry. Krupp, we'll get you for the next one.
Sorry, Soundo. We have, in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, the blue Protoss player, representing Raise Your Edge Gaming, RYE. She is coming up from South Korea. We have Zest.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the other South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, currently getting his gas stolen. Only one available in the main, representing a Freak of Freaks. It is Stats.
And really, I don't know why Stats doesn't just GG out now.
Oh, because you know what? There's an opportunity, but Zest, he's on top of the gas.
On top of it, literally right on the top of that geyser. Oh, he pulls away a little bit. Stats are gonna turn around. No, Zest gonna secure that second gas. Now that's GG.
That's GG. Just like that, Zest asserting his dominance over Stats, able to deny his gases, delaying the gases of Stats, and yeah, still, you know, expanding and taking his natural behind it.
Yeah, much quicker than Stats as well. So I'm really curious as to how Stats will decide to play this out. I mean, he is gonna be behind for now in terms of the economy, and he's not gonna have a lot of you know, aggressive potential here because his gas is late. So yeah, my eyes are on him right now. My eyes are just looking at him and just wondering, how does he try to come back? Okay, well, he's not that far behind, so he doesn't need to do anything too drastic.
Like,
you know, how does he come back?
I like how we're playing off the fact that, mate, he's done. That's it. Like,
he is done. He got a gas stolen.
Yeah, like right now, he's just, you know what? He's just playing. He's just playing right now.
Yeah, this game's done, but he's just playing.
Oh god, but no, I mean, the Stats' gas is just a little bit delayed. It will delay some of the tech as well, but we will see. Oh, he is going for this Twilight Council opener, and it was spotted by the probe of Zest.
Yeah, nothing for Stats really to hide, just throwing it out there. Say, hey, this is a standard PvP opening. Wink, wink.
Yeah, and we do have Zest going for the same route in kind. No one going for any kind of Stargate play. Everyone going for what I assume is going to be Blink Stalkers.
This has got to be a record for Def Aura.
What kind of record?
No Stargate play.
Right? Yeah. No Stargate play. Interesting. No one opened up for.
Yeah, I'm so used to seeing at least one Protoss player open up a Stargates on Def Aura.
Yeah, more often than not, you know, like maybe even a proxy Stargate or something along those lines. Over in the center of the map. But yeah, everything is within each other's bases. Everyone is getting their blinks underway. Ooh, we do have Stats, the first player to throw down his Forge.
Yep, this is either Stats saying, you know what if I just really cannon up and turtle up, or more likely, deciding to be a lot more aggressive this time. Zest does scout the Forge, so more than likely than not, he's going to start preparing back at home for it, get some shield batteries up, maybe a cannon or two.
Yeah, interesting. So Zest, he does go in with this hallucinated scout. He does see that there's like, you know, nothing too dangerous, no extra gateways or anything crazy. So he should be okay defensively with his own units. And with that information, he immediately throws down his third.
Yeah, his own forge is going to be on the way as well. Behind that, Stats throwing down a third. So this is one of the most standard games I think we're going to be seeing for a while.
Oh yeah, we'll see if this is indicative of how the entire series is going to play out between these two players, or if this is just how game one is going out, you know, where they both want to like feel each other out a little bit.
This is their obligated macro game of the series. Every other game from now on, yes, Proxy City is what's going to happen. But I think you may be onto something there. I'm not sure how many times Stats and Zest have been able to play one another, and again, Zest coming back into competitive play, at least for these weekly events. Stats probably just wants to get a feel of how Zest likes to play in the matchup.
Yeah, definitely, especially because, you know, it's more than likely that they mainly face each other on the ladder, but even then, you know, they typically ladder on barcode accounts, so they don't necessarily know that they are facing each other either. You know, it could be someone like SOS or Trap or someone along those lines, and ooh, Stats with this big gateway explosion.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the +1 here, Light. Blink is already finished up, or is going to be finishing up here from Stats, but the +1 also about to be done. What are we going to get out of this Robo Light, and why is it a Warp Prism?
Yeah, so Stats looking to be a little bit more aggressive. Meanwhile, Zest, once again, just like his game versus Patience, he's focusing on his economy, expanding, taking that fourth base. I will say, you know, Death Aura compared to Jagannatha, it is a little bit more, it is easier to defend on 4 bases. Like, they are all like snuggled in this corner. You know, it's a little bit easier to traverse between all the bases. You have this high ground as well. So Stats, it's a little bit easier to get away with this fourth.
Yeah, especially if you have creep connected.
I was shaking my head. You're not wrong. You know, like if Zest, if he had like some creep thrown down, it could be so much easier to defend.
You know, once you said, "Oh yes, all of these bases are nice and snug in the corner," I was like, oh, just like for Zerg. Or no, I was thinking more like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily help if they're Zerg. I don't know why Zerg was on my mind.
What do you PvP. Oh my god. Yaku, his mind is in the upper half of the bracket where that ZVZ is going on. Really, subliminally, we get a glimpse into what is really underneath the surface of Yaku, and he wanted to get into that ZVZ.
Yeah, I don't really know why.
God damn it.
I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, we've had plenty of those today. And, oh, okay, so Stats, he is prioritizing getting those disruptors out. Once again, this is very reminiscent to the previous series against Patience for Zest, where he opted not to go for any disruptors.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to, you know, if he's able to execute the strategy he had planned there. I feel like, again, it was mostly some miscalculation coming up from Zest in that particular game against Patience, where he wanted to go for these flanks, but just mistimed things just a little bit too much, and then Patience is able to clean up. Zest trying to go for this shield battery. That means that the next time he pushes in, it's gonna be a little easier on him to get some damage done.
Oh, yeah.
That's going for Gravitic boost. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's for Observers, isn't it?
Yes, that is Observer speed. Interesting that he prioritized that upgrade, you know, over something else like Warp Prism speed, or or getting the upgrade in general. Really, I hope that wasn't a misclick. But yeah, we do see Zest. He's trying to. Oh, like okay, okay.
Right last second. Oh, that looked terrible for a sec.
Yeah, again, like, I don't know if maybe Zest is, like, uncomfortable or he's not confident in his own disruptor play, because it's just something that he hasn't been going for in these PvPs, and I feel like he's at a disadvantage as a result. Like, there's so many disruptors here for Stats. He's making 2 at a time.
We're getting to the point where, so long as Zest, you know, uses his blink a little bit too early just once, Stats is really going to be able to capitalize on that. Really just throw down a bunch of... He can start baiting out these blinks is what he can start doing.
Yeah, like, I feel like all we need is like 1 or 2 solid disruptor shots and things are really going to swing in Stats' favor. We'll see if Zest is going to allow that to happen though. Again, he's very quick on his feet when it comes to this Stalker blink micro.
But Stats, he is a shield. Here comes a... Oh, okay. Nova getting a little bit of damage done. But there we go. Those were the baited out blinks, as we said.
Yeah.
And starting to get really cleared out. To be fair, the gateway count is starting to thin out here. For Stats, he doesn't really have much of a buffer for his disruptors. And now Zest really pushing forward.
Exactly, incredibly aggressive blinks. He was able to take out the majority, if not every single one of the disruptors, and it looks like he's going to be able to break this position. He was able to win not just in the center of fight, but also to the south, and GG gets called.
Zest is going to be taking game number 1. Showing that his PvP is still not something to underestimate.
Yeah, showing us that, you know, it doesn't matter if your opponent is going for all these disruptors. One aggressive blink forward, as long as your target fire is on point and you're able to kill them before any major shot goes off, then things can really swing in your favor, because that's exactly what happened. Stats, he had like 8 or 10 disruptors, and in the end, I think there was only 1 or 2 major shots. All the others, like all the other disruptors, died before they were able to really contribute to the fight.
Yeah, they really didn't. That's kind of the duality of disruptors here. Either they're going to be what wins you the game in the blink of an eye, or it's going to be what loses you the game in the blink of a stalker.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's one of those things where if Stats was a little bit more proactive with his shots, like a little bit more aggressive with them, forcing Zest to blink sooner than he would like, then maybe things would have been a little bit different. But in the end, Zest, he was best.
Oh wait, we need to get Kuro in.
We did. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. We are going to be getting that group please on the way.
And speaking of, welcome Krupp to the cast.
Welcome. Someone forgot me last time.
Yeah, for not a Zest, you know.
Oh yeah. It was clearly Zest.
No, he just
how dare he?
He really wanted to get into that series.
Yeah, it was eager, and now we kind of see why. All right, who's observing?
I'll observe.
All right, and as we now come in here onto Pilsgold, LE holding up the rest of the maps that are also LE. It seems like LE is a bit of a pattern here. I can't imagine why. I mean, who even knows what it stands for? Who even does? In the top right-hand corner of the map, sweating all the way to the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player. Coming down from Korea, he is the exiled prince himself. Coming back, making his competitive re-debut after a long period of a break. Representing Razor Edge Gaming, RYEJ, we have Zest.
And in the bottom left corner of the map, that is Pillars of Gold, LE. We have the blue Protoss player representing South Korea as well as Africa Freaks. We have one of the nicest Protosses out there, the Shield of Fire. We have Stats.
Not getting gas stolen this time. Huge plus.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna have to interrupt for a quick second interject rather, just to agree with Pez here. Yeah, Stats, what was this creep spread even like? Like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Come on.
Wow.
That's really, look, the gas steal, that's what made him lose, but the lack of creep spread there, that's what secured it.
I mean, how do you get vision otherwise? Like, come on.
Come on,
You need the map awareness.
You can do better than that.
By the way, nice proxy pylon by Stats in the third of Zest.
Just keeping that probe there, and I mean, it says as we kind of suspected, you know, game number 1, standard macro, game number 2 onwards, a little bit more cheeky.
Interesting. So we got a Stargate. It's gonna be scouted. So easy.
Yes, he saw that probe a little bit earlier on. He was very suspicious, and now he's coming in with his zealot. I gotta give props to this one probe who is very bravely chipping away at the zealot here of Zest. Stats are gonna make it easy on him though. But just like that,
because because of how focused the Zealot was, the probe is actually still alive and it's trying to help out the Stalker.
Indeed it is. And something more importantly than helping out the Stalker here, it's still alive and will be able to build more and more shield batteries here. The Stalker of Zest is going to make it a little bit harder though.
Yeah, but there are already 2 pylons, there are shield batteries, and the Void Ray is more than halfway done. So this is looking pretty good for Stas, I think.
Oh boy. That it is. Zest now going to be retreating with his Stalker. Is he getting any shield batteries back at home? Does he have any? That might be a little bit too late here, coming down here for Zest. And such an exposed pylon!
Oh, true. This is an Artosis pylon.
It lives. It doesn't live. Never mind.
Nope, it doesn't.
But
so
neither will the
does
Void Ray. Yeah, it does go down. Another Void Ray coming out though from Stats. And in the end, I kind of want to give the trade to Zest.
Yeah. He has more Stalkers, so the proxy is gonna get stopped eventually. Huh.
Huh.
Or not.
Huh.
I guess not.
Alright, I feel like that should be the end here of Stats' harass, but I mean, he's still continuing to try to get something done out of it. He did invest quite a bit, so yeah, see what he can get done. I feel like his shield batteries are just too far behind.
Yeah, this is not like the harassing shield battery that you just like, you know, poke into the main base and go back. This is much farther away position. But actually, they're almost even on Stalkers. So if Stalkers get here in time, this may be quite an interesting fight.
That it definitely will. Zest does have the defender's advantage, but then again, Zest or Stats, he can always reinforce from that location. Taking out the gateway.
Really?
That's kind of costly, but honestly, that's what he has to do. It's either that or the other gateway or the cyber core. And taking out just one gateway, I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow, but that's what he had to do.
Yeah, and he still has no natural, so this is an important thing to think about. Like, there's no transition from this. He has no economy, and there was no harass to like the workers of Zest.
Yes, that's so far all in right now. He really needs to make use of his Void Rays, make use of the Stargates. Because again, as he said, he has some economy behind this, not getting the second base, and he doesn't have a lot of gateways either.
How many does he have?
I think it's just one.
2.
Yeah,
Yes, 2.
He has 2. He has a second somewhere.
Probably in the main. Yeah, in the main.
That's where it is. It's that slowly leapfrogging his way forward. I feel like I'm starting to really fear for Zest here, man. I mean, the Void Rays, we're getting to a point where it's almost critical mass. A couple of good physical lines will melt through the Stalkers.
This is a lot of Stalkers, though. And
it is a lot of Stalkers, but yeah.
See, I think Stalkers, they stutter step better than Void Rays.
They definitely do, but what worries me is the shield batteries here for Stats.
Yeah.
If he is able to bait Zest to move into a bit of an unfortunate position, that will be it. He is going in, or he's going out. Look, he's going in some direction, and there we go. That is a start. Absolutely, that is the first step here right now for Zest. Start to one-shot these Void Rays. He is getting his own Void Ray Stalker count thinned out. Is this just enough Stats? This is just enough.
Yeah, this is just enough. The Zealots helped a lot because as the Stalkers were busy sniping the Void Rays, the Zealots were just like chewing through them.
Absolutely, that is a bit of the. I feel like that's one of those things that is difficult to try to calculate in the heat of the moment, right? Like, should I be targeting this down or should I be trying to start a step here? And
Yeah,
once again, committing to this. You know, he could have gotten to second base. I mean, he could have gotten to second base.
Could he though?
It doesn't want to. He doesn't want to. Let's be real. Zest is taking this a little bit more seriously, fighting with within his shield battery, not being overly aggressive right now. Battery overcharge being popped. Still though,
he has his own Zealot now, so they take the fire.
Yeah, drawing some attention away from the ground army of Stats, but it looks like Stats will just about break through that battery overcharge. I wouldn't say it was wasted. I mean, he did kind of need it to keep a couple of his units alive, but now there's no overcharge available for Zest.
Yeah, this is a tough spot. Like, stats every fight, stats has just enough to like just fight through this army.
Yeah, he's always pulling ahead a little bit in these. He's taking these incremental trades, and I mean, Zest, he still has the defender's advantage, but we'll see how long that will last. Zest, or Stats rather, he is in such a good position right now with shield batteries.
He has to be very careful though. Those void rays can't go down.
That's all he's got left. All he's got left. I'm kind of surprised that Zest hasn't remade the shield batteries. He's remaking them now, which is nice to see.
They get sniped too easy, so I guess he's moving them farther back.
Yeah, have a little bit of a anchor point or a fallback point to just have a bit of a touch up. It's got like a pit stop here for Zest.
This is. Both of them have to be very
go out. They do have to be very careful, but Stats is trying to push it with this prison alignment. Oh, a little bit indecisive right now, but honestly, that's fine for him, I would say. Stats is pulling the boys. He's got a bit of a buffer here, but the void rays are falling.
Oh boy. It's the boys versus the boys. Like, both of them are pulling workers at this point. They're just throwing everything on the line.
Yeah, they are. I'm starting to get really worried for Zest here. His production very much depowered. But that said, Stats is also pretty desperate. Shield batteries out of energy, and Zest is pulling ahead on the army count.
Yeah, this is what I meant. If he could snipe the void rays, like suddenly it's looking better for Zest.
It is looking so much better for Zest right now. He can see clearly now the rain is gone.
That's now he's actually in worker deficit now. He lost more probes.
Are they? He did lose more probes, but they're about even on the worker count. I think more importantly is that Zest is able to. Yeah, they are now. I think more importantly is that Zest is actually more. He's able to make use of those workers a bit more efficiently than Stats would, I would say, because I mean their main bases are about the same amount of mined out. But so Zest is going to be the one who's able to mine from that fresher natural base.
They're literally even now. Oh, never mind.
And now Stats is starting to feel starting to catch a little bit of heat. Zest, he was so patient throughout this entire game, taking the page off of that other Protoss player Patience. And Stats is still, yeah. I was gonna say Stats still has a decent position, but yeah, GG. Zest now a match point. Honestly, I feel like that game could have gone really either way. It was just towards the end there, Stats, I feel like he got a little bit desperate. He was aware that he was starting to run out of minerals. He did not want to go for a second base. So instead, he just pushed in with everything he had, including his own probes, tried to get something done. But Zest, his micro was, maybe not so much his micro, but his decision-making to target down those void rays, right? To pull the probes when he did, absolutely on point.
Okay, so here's a question. Do you think Stats was actually considering making another base, and that's why he had so many probes? Or it was just like a habit and he made too much and just like said like whatever?
I would say the latter. Because he wanted to make another Nexus, he would have done it. There were like a couple of points where he could have done that and, tried to continue his contain on Zest while getting a little bit ahead, but yeah, that wasn't quite the case. And with that, we're going to be loading in onto game number 3. Thank you very much, Kuro, for jumping in for this cast.
Enjoy the tournament. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, massive shout out to Kuro. Honestly, that was an amazing game number 2. I had a lot of fun observing it. It was all over the place. And thank you so much, Kuro. Again, if you are unfamiliar with her, she is 16th Squad Sanseki in the chat. She's usually behind the scenes over here on the CranKy Ducklings, usually observing, working on production, or working on things like graphic design for the channel, making all of these beautiful overlays. So huge shout out to Kuro. And if you want her to cast another match, you can with your channel points.
That you definitely can. Which is, hint, hint, wink, wink. You definitely can, wink. But until then, we are going to be casting this game on Romanticide LE. LE, of course, standing for Lovers elephants, lovers elephants. That's when your love is just massive. Over here in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, the red Protoss player already showing why his reputation, his legacy of PvP is not something to scoff at. On match point, he is representing Razor Edge Gaming, RYEJ. Coming down from Korea, he is Zest.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, this time retaining his gases once again, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Afrika Freaks, currently down 0-2 in this best of 3. This could be it. This could be his final game. He needs to bring it back. It is Stats.
Wow. And I gotta say, like, looking at Zest right now, he's making his reappearance in ESL Asia. Already he's on match point against Stats, who, I will remind everyone, won the most amount of ESL Asias. Not only that, but throughout the entirety of 2020, it's just been looking so solid.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm really excited.
Exactly, like Zest may have been on a bit of a hiatus here for a couple of months from these ESL Open Cups, but now he is back and he is in form. He was looking a little bit shaky against Patience in his earlier PvP, but here against Stats he's been able to really shine, finally break into what his original plan was, you know, with all that gateway play against Disruptors, able to even defend against the cheese of Stats. Once again, Stats, he was the first player to go for something like a proxy, and now Stats, what does he do from here?
Well, it involves a Stargate, I can tell you that much.
It does involve a Stargate. So again, it feels like Stats realizes the position he's in and he needs to do something out of the norm. He can't just like play straight up like he did in game 1, play standard, because, you know, that's where he lost against Zest.
That it was, but I don't know, I feel like this is still kind of standard-ish. I mean, going for this Stargate play, not proxying it this time. But we'll see if it's might be enough to try to take some incremental damage here on Zest. Zest he's known for cutting corners to get as efficient of a build as and an opening as he can possibly get, and we see that come into play this time. He is only now getting shield battery out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, so Zest, he does have a couple... Yeah, he does have a couple of sentries for hallucinated scouts. He hasn't sent one out yet, so he is unaware of the opener for Stats, so it's possible that he may scout a little bit too late and this Oracle could deal a lot of damage.
That it could. Shield battery finishes up though.
Yeah, the shield battery does finish, so his main is perfectly fine, at least until this second Oracle comes in. Meanwhile, oh, the Shade actually went in, but he doesn't commit.
Yeah. I got really worried there for a second. I mean, 1 Oracle and 4 Adepts can absolutely wreak havoc into a mineral line. And we see Stats trying to do that now. Doesn't commit. Zest, he is taking this so seriously. He knows that the only thing that Stats can, you know, realistically do damage on is that mineral line. So he is investing just about all of his army, all of his DPS in protecting that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, we do see Zest harassing as well, since he does have a proxy gateway out on the map. Meanwhile, the second Oracle, oh, actually Stats, he's turning around.
Yeah, turning around for a split second, but now starting to regroup.
Yeah, we do see these warpins across the map. They force Stats back home with his entire army, looking to try and catch all these stalkers.
Really good body block here with the Adepts. And he does start to take one out. No, that poor probe. So brave.
Oh god, that poor probe. Meanwhile, Zest, he's just continuing to apply pressure, continuing to warp in more and more stalkers across the map, now meeting up with his sentries as well. And Stats, he made the decision to counterattack with his 2 oracles.
Yeah, he did. He knows that this is Zest, the vast majority of Zest's army, and that he does not have much back at home. He only has a single shield battery, and that is not enough to deal with 2 oracles. They can start one-shotting these probes. Quick little warp bit defensive stalkers back over there, and now Zest, he should be able to take out this Nexus.
Oh yeah, like because of the force fields, like Zest, he can just force field the ramp and just keep a Stats in his main base, so this natural is going to be going down. Oh my god.
Decision-making coming out here from Zest, even pulling a little bit of style here with that Colossus.
Yeah, some style, some flair. Obviously, he does give some high ground vision, but mate, he's just styling on stats right now.
High ground vision, this is the thing.
Exactly.
That is just 100% a power play coming out here.
Yeah, and the Oracles just haven't been able to do anything for stats. He's been so indecisive, and the cybernetic score does go down. So now only Zealots are going to be warped in for stats.
I cannot believe the decision making from Zest coming down here. So decisive, knowing exactly when to push out across the map. He even has a couple of defensives back at home here.
Yeah, Jesus,
Sure
like
untouched.
yeah, like so Zest, he was aware that the Adepts, they completed their shade and that the Oracles are missing. So because of that, in the back of his mind, he's like, okay, I know I need to keep some Stalkers at home to defend my mineral line. And so far, he's been able to do so and still has that base advantage.
Did he kill one of these Oracles? No, not quite yet. Ah, the two Oracles were clumped together.
Yeah.
It's like they're done.
Oh, and he does go in, he does reveal, but that's all he's been able to do. Finally, Stats is able to break down into his natural to try and expand, but he's been on one base for so long.
Indeed he has. It almost doesn't matter that he has the higher worker count. Zest, I mean, to be fair, he's not really pumping out workers in his natural base. He is playing it out pretty cautious.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Now, like, for the majority of this time, like, Zest hadn't really probed up his main, his natural, but now he is doing so. Oh!
Stasis Ward! That's actually more than I expected it to. A couple of poor probes that weren't able to evacuate in time, as well as that Stalker.
Yeah.
And this does pull a little bit of units back.
Exactly. Now it's Stats' opportunity. Now it's his turn to start to apply some pressure here with all these Stalkers, with a couple of sentries as well. Oh!
They have the much earlier blink and uses that to jump right on top of these sentries. That is such an important unit right now defensively for Zest. And Zest trying to go a little bit for a flank here. Guardian Shell really helping him out right now. And Zest, is he tunneling a little bit? What was he trying to target with his Stalkers?
He was all over the place, and he's trying to focus down some of the weakened Stalkers of Stats. Meanwhile, there is a shield battery just barely finishing up. Overcharge available, but there is so much supply here for Stats.
That there is. It looks like Stats is going to be putting a point on the board.
Oh yeah, Overcharge was used, but immediately the shield battery was sniped. Probes, boys are forced off the line. Again, Zest does have the worker advantage. He can afford to lose some probes.
That he can, but can he afford this micro? GG's called. Stats started to turn things around, takes game number 3, and will be denying Zest that 3-0. I was going to say denying Zest from going to the finals, but yeah, we can't rule that out yet.
Yeah, GG Stats. He does fight back. He doesn't get knocked out 3-0. He is better than that. He is Stats, for Christ's sake. And we will see if he can continue this, if he can gain some momentum and at least make it to the ace match.
He is Stats, goddamn.
Jones.
Scary Joe.
God damn it. We need to come up with his alias for the drama.
Kim goddamn Daob.
There we go. As we are getting ready for game number 4 against Stats, he was able to survive the aggression of Zest. Despite losing his natural, it didn't even matter. He had just an overwhelming amount of Stalkers, and you can definitely argue that Zest was a little bit too greedy. He was just probing up too much, focusing on his economy, when really he desperately needed, more shield batteries at home, more Stalkers.
That he did. That's kind of the double-edged sword of Zest. That's kind of the double-edged sword of efficiency. Sometimes you cut too many corners, and then you're left with not enough wood.
Yeah, you're left with a circle. And circles, they don't have that edge that Razor Edge needs.
But you can still bash someone with a circle. No, actually, no, because you said a circle and not a sphere. So with circle, you can, like a disc, you can sort of like accelerate and have a chainsaw.
Yeah, you know what? Circles, they have one edge.
But then again, a curved circle, you don't necessarily have a... You can have an edge on a circle, but you don't necessarily have an edge on a circle. I mean, it really depends on like the tapering there on the blade.
And you know what? Zest, he didn't have creep spread.
That he did not. That's really what cost him there. He also did steal the gas that game, so, all adds up. And to get adding up, we are now here on Oxide LE, where we do expand our lungs as well as our livers. Over here in the bottom of the left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom of the left-hand corner. Our red Zerg player, not our pink Protoss player, our red Protoss player, not our Zerg player. You mentioned creep, and now I'm just... He may as well be a Zerg player, but then again, he doesn't have creep, so he is going to be our red Protoss player, representing Razor Edge Gaming, RYE. Coming down from Korea, we have Zest.
No, Zest and Zerg both start with Z. Coincidence?
Somewhat.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the other South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss. He is currently fighting back. He is able to put a point on the board. Can he bring it to that ace match? We will find out. He is representing Team Afrika Freaks. It is Stats.
Boy,
and oh, both players blocking each other's naturals.
all right, one base. Let's go. Pro pool.
Let's go. I like how, you know, they can't quite get into their gas geysers. They can't get into their mains, so they've gone for the next best thing, going for those pylon blocks.
Yeah, stealing the gas on the natural base. But I tell you what, like, pylon block, that's stealing the gas and the minerals.
Oh yeah, yeah. 2 for 1.
That's spicy meatball.
That's math. Oh my god, he's going for the cyber core.
Oh, he's going for the cyber core. Zest really forcing, but Stats goes for the cyber core as well. This is how you can tell that both of these players, they were on KT.
Yeah, I was about to say, it goes to show both of these players, they are so similar in skill, going for the exact same openers, and it's important to note, they were both on KT, but you know what they weren't on?
Guess 18.
They weren't on SKT. They did not have the tutelage of Rain behind them, and that's really what they lack here. That's why it's so difficult to find like a disparity and find a clear favorite in this series.
Yeah, we cannot see, it's hard for us to see clearly. The Rain hasn't gone.
Has not?
I'm just gonna stew in my pride for that one.
Oh my god, alright, and we will see which one of these players can take that title of Reign from each other. Zest is going across the map with some of his Stalkers. Again, I don't see him doing too much damage here, but we'll see as Stats, he does have his own units here.
Yeah, very good defensive setup right now. Zest, you know, not going to be retreating all the way. Still going to see if he can get some kind of opportunity, but that Stats is not making it easy for him.
Yeah, if anything, Zest is just keeping Stats honest, keeping or attempting to keep him contained here on 2 bases as best he can. And ooh, Zest even has done this a couple of times in this series, and especially against Patience, throwing down a reinforcing pylon.
Yeah, that is going to help so much when Zest inevitably decides to go for a bit of an aggressive push here. Actually proxying the Dark Shrine.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll love to see it.
Oh my god, I was wondering, because Zest, he did go for a Twilight Council, but there's nothing researching, and what's important is that Stats, he is going, okay, never mind, I was about to say that he should be noticing that there's no research at all, but Zest, he does start Blink in the face of Stats, so it looks like, you know, it's a little bit more standard.
Yeah, and this honestly isn't too unlikely of a timing. It really depends on if Stats also looked at the natural base and saw, you don't have a lot of buildings there.
Yeah, that's the big question, and it's possible because that's the first time he went in with his hallucination, there wasn't anything researching, so maybe he would have been able to deduce that there is a Dark Shrine. He is working on a Robo, so we'll see if his initial unit out of it is going to be an Observer.
Yeah, it's not often that you see an Observer first in a PvP. It's usually, it only happens if in 2 scenarios. 1, you have a very paranoid Protoss player, or 2, you have a Protoss player who suspects the Dark Trend coming down.
Yeah, and Zest, he's so bold. Like, he's invested in these DTs, and we do have them being warped in. Meanwhile, behind this, he's expanding, taking a third base, and I'm a little bit concerned because we have more and more gateways being thrown down. We have an Immortal first, so Stats is looking to be a little bit more aggressive, and Zest may have cut too many corners to be able to hold, but we'll see what his DT is going to be able to pull off.
But I tell you what here, like, Stats sees a third base.
He does.
He's anticipating this whatsoever. Only one DT at the moment. Zest just trying to, not trying to be too overt with it. I don't think he... Okay, now he has the opportunity to go in for harass.
He does, and he's going for it.
There he goes.
And honestly, I'm surprised that he didn't commit to more than just one DT, because it does slip in and it is going to deal damage. There is no detection.
No, there is not. I feel like it's one of those cases where Zest, he didn't want to risk too much, right? He didn't want to, put in too much money for what will get spotted and taken out, but he did not realize that Sats just has no detection. He would took the safe option.
Yeah, exactly. And now we do see detection is on the way for Stats. He will be able to deal with any incoming DTs, and Zest is forced back. But you know what? He's been able to buy some time and get his third up and running. Hopefully he wasn't too greedy though, because again, like, this army is still quite terrifying, especially with this Immortal and Warp Prism.
It very much so is. We're going to get to a point once again where it's all going to depend on Zest's positioning and his micro here, especially when it comes to his blinks.
Yeah.
And that's about the end of that harass with Zest.
Yep. And I was a little bit curious as to where the DT was, and did get recalled, and now he's going back in, but there is detection here.
I feel like a DT can fight in Adept, but yeah, there's also a shield battery there, so does not want to be risking that.
And now this is what I was concerned about. Stats, he's going for this big attack, and again, like, no robo units whatsoever for Zest. He's just relying on these gateway units and DTs to defend.
Too many corners cut. Once again, Zest, he's banking up his minerals just so he can get a very, very massive warping coming down. One Archon is definitely going to be quite a bit of a boost here for Zest.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Underestimate defender's advantage, but that was a wide open wall. Stats blinks right in and takes out that shield battery.
Yeah, it does, but it's so smart that he did get that Archon, so he is able to bust through the force fields, trying to get back into his natural. 14 probes are going down, and he was forced to pull them off the line.
Yeah, just like that, Zest has lost his worker lead, but he did take out that Warp Prism, so as long as he's able to clear this out, Zest will have another fighting chance. And remember, he got the third base a lot quicker than Stats did.
Yeah, exactly. So even though he lost all those workers, he will be able to remake his workers a lot faster compared to Stats. And yeah, it was so smart that he focused down that Warp Prism, able to stop any kind of reinforcements or micro potential for Stats, and Zest cleans it up.
That he does. Buys himself a lot of breathing room. Still has a ways to go in catching up with the worker count, but I mean, just look at the supply now. He has an opportunity to go across the map, maybe try to deny his third base or get something done.
Yeah, the problem is that pylon did get cleaned up earlier, and there's no Warp Prism. Like, the first robo for Zest is only still just on the way, so it's going to be difficult to reinforce with, like, across the map his army. So yeah, like, this is all he has to work with. That he does. I'm taking this very seriously now, just not wanting to, overextend even a little bit into shield battery range. Yeah, exactly. He realizes the position he's in. He realizes that Stats has plenty to defend. He's like, okay, I can't do anything at the third. I'm going to back off. I'm going to focus on my macro, get back up in terms of the economy. Now he's not too far behind. He's only down by 2 workers. And finally, he's going to be catching up in terms of the tech with his own robo, with his own upgrades on his forge, as he has been quite behind. +2 was about to finish. Yeah, Stats, and that's a pretty big advantage to have on your opponent. Definitely, like, +1 only just started recently. It is being chrono boosted, but again, like, it's a big advantage that Stats is going to have in his engagements. And ooh, finally, for the first time, we're going to be seeing Stats whip out the disruptors. Ooh, interesting. I mean, to me, it makes sense, right? Disruptors are the great equalizer. Like, Zest, he's a little bit behind, or he has been a little bit behind in terms of the upgrades and the tech, so he needs to get back into this. Watch it be Colossus. It could. I mean, it's not the worst thing against Chargelots, I guess.
It's definitely something, but yeah, not the most ideal unit here in a PvP. Zest, I'm really glad he backed away from that.
Yeah.
Hopefully he realizes that that is +2 ground weapons to stats.
I'm pretty sure, like, he dove in, like, he saw the army, he clicked on them, and he saw the upgrades. He was like, oh. He's like, I'm gonna nope out of this one.
Just like that GIF. Walked in, he walked out.
Yeah, exactly. With a double, like 2 upgrade disadvantage, he did not want to engage into that. Meanwhile, Disruptors are on the way, and now it's Stats' turn to come across the map once again with a Warp Prism, with these Archons, with an Immortal.
Yeah, Zest is really trying to buy himself a little bit of time here. He knows he cannot fight head-on without those Disruptors. There we go, the first Disruptor comes out.
Oh. Ends up targeting down his own pylon, so he does get a couple of production buildings depowered. Meanwhile, he still has 1 Disruptor here with his main army.
Yeah, being so patient right now. He does not want to just throw out a Purification Nova and get nothing in return. So many gateways to powered over here, and by so many, I mean 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a juicy hit there with the Purification Nova. That may just be what Zest needed to start turning things around.
Yeah, definitely. That was a huge shot. That's go time for Zest. Okay, now I can go in with my army, even though I have that upgrade disadvantage.
Going in with this flank, he is taking the Chargelot fights, but he needs to be so wary about these Archons. They are melting the Zealots of Zest.
Yeah, but you know what? With that defender's advantage, there's just so much here for Zest. He's able to push away the army of Stats, and every single time, Stats' army gets smaller and smaller, and now his War Prism is looking to be a little bit exposed.
Yeah, so that's not really jumping on top of that, and a dude like the Stats is going to be relocating it. Knows he does not want to stick around for that. +2, about halfway done here for Zest, so Stats, he is not going to be having his upgraded lead for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Zest will be starting to even things out.
Exactly. +3 has not started for Stats, so eventually Zest will be able to catch up. He does warp in some units defensively, does force the Warp Prism back, and behind this Stats, he's forced back home, and he is the first to take his 4th.
Yeah. It's, you know, something, a way for Stats to come back after that crushing retreat.
Yeah, definitely. And what I do love is that we do have the Robotics Bay just barely finishing up for Stats, and to try and catch up in terms of the Disruptor count, we have double Robo, double Disruptor production.
Funnily enough, so does Zest.
Yeah.
He already has the lead, and he's continuing to maintain that lead.
Yeah, exactly. Stats is going to try his best to catch up, but it's going to be so difficult against Zest. Zest has been able to hold on despite the disadvantages that he's had, and with the beautiful Disruptor shots, he has been able to get back into this, and we'll see if this time Stats is going to be able to hold, because Zest is looking to push across the map.
Yeah, he has no fear whatsoever anymore. Wait, did he take out the Warp Prism earlier? Did not quite take out the Warp Prism, but yeah, he's not really too worried about that.
Yeah, he's got some units at home to defend in case the Warp Prism does commit into the main. And we shall see who is able to land those Disruptor shots.
Yeah, it is such a tight choke point for Zest. Almost getting some units there with the Nova. But now here comes a massive engagement coming down. Zest really trying to sort out the rest of this Protoss army from Stats using his own Purification Novas. This is the battle of Disruptors right now. Welcome to PvP.
Welcome to PvP, and oh my god, even a couple of Zealots flanking, and as you said, that was what's important. Zest, he may not have gotten amazing Disruptor shots, but he was just zoning out the army of Stats. He wasn't able to defend his 4th base, but in the end, Zest, he doesn't commit to taking it out.
No, he does not. A couple of Zealots here just drawing the fire away from these Stalkers, and now Zest gonna be able to completely deny this 4th base of Stats.
Yeah, and Stats doesn't even care. He's just going across the map, looking to do the same to Zest, looking to deny the 4th.
But guess what? Zest, he can cancel it.
Yeah, he can cancel it. It was not a kill, unlike that of Stats, and he has to be careful. These Disruptors, they are left a little bit vulnerable.
That they are, but it looks like the armies just about miss one another.
Oh yeah, meanwhile, Stats is setting up a big Zealot run by over to the bottom right-hand side of the map, and both players are still stuck on 3 bases. No one has that 4th base advantage, but you know what? Slowly, over time, Stats has been able to rebuild or build up that Disruptor count, and he hasn't had any major losses, so now, for the most part, their armies are kind of equal.
Kind of, but not quite. Again, it all comes down to these disruptors.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what it's going to come down to.
Or blinks.
Yeah, who gets a blink on top of who first, who wastes their blink first as well, and leaves themselves vulnerable to some Purification Novas. Again, Stats still hasn't gone for that run, but he is splitting up his army quite nicely, though.
Yeah, that he is just really just trying to find opportunity wherever he can, and honestly, he's not... Okay, now he is a little bit... Now there is quite a bit of distance between the two armies, but I was gonna say, he can always fall back to the other one.
Oh, yeah, nice pickoffs here as well. Stats able to snipe, one Immortal does back off. And Zest hasn't been able to find much. He just rotated around to see if this fourth over here on the right-hand side was being taken. It was not. And ooh, massive Zealot Warp in.
I said massive Zealot Warp in.
Said massive Zealot Warp in. Stats, I mean Zest, please.
A little bit preoccupied here trying to clear up these rocks. Stats is aware of it and trying to come in for a bit of flank.
Oh, but who's going to be flanked?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting a bit of a quadruple deck of damage right now. Look at all these disruptors, so exposed. Beautiful blink here from Stats.
Oh my god, but you know what? A lot of disruptor shots were wasted there for Zest. Now it's the opportunity for Stats to utilize his.
Yeah, only losing one disruptor over there, and now the Purification Novas on cooldown for Zest. Zest will be pulling ahead with a much quicker +3, and a lot of probes also going down. So Stats, he really needs to start, getting something done here.
Yeah, again, nicely done by Zest. He was able to take out all those workers and the fourth base of Stats once again.
Disruptor's a little bit clumped up there. There are still a couple here for Stats, but every time he loses a disruptor, he doesn't... It just hurts him so much more to replace it.
Yeah, and Stats is really struggling without that fourth base. Look at the disparity in terms of army supply. Like, Zest is just miles ahead at this point.
That he is. He is in the stratosphere. And Stats, he is just struggling to get something, to get some speed up.
Yeah, exactly. And now the army of Stats is split up. He's here to the right-hand side and the left, but everything here looks like it's going to be chased down by the charge lots. But Stats, he's finding an opportunity to deal some damage.
Yeah, a little bit of a way to equalize here. Still behind on the base count, so it's working out a little bit. But if he can keep continuing to take these small victories here and there, it can snowball in his favor, but not if he gets completely surrounded by that.
Yeah, Zest, he catches the entire Stalker army of Stats over on the left-hand side, forces another cancel. Meanwhile, Stats, all he has left is here in the center. He's getting caught out.
He is getting caught out. Beautiful Purification Nova, but not quite going to be enough. GG is called. Zest is going to be your finalist for this week's ESL Open Cup Asia. And he's going to go up to face Rogue in the grand finals, who took out Solar 3-1. Bit of a familiar story in both our semifinals here. Let's hope that translates into a very, very exciting grand finals.
Yeah, definitely. GG, well played. Zest is best, and he does advance on to get into those grand finals. The ZVP that is waiting for us, mate. Rogue versus Zest.